Welcome to Always Real Talk. In the studio, we have Brandon Todd. That is Council Member Brandon Todd out of Ward 4. Brandon, welcome to Always Real Talk.
Thank you for having me, Chairman Brown. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be on the show.
Well, look, good to have you on the show. Hey, this election is a hot election. Let me start off by saying that you are one of the hardest campaigners. And you know I take campaigning seriously. And I must say that you are a very hard campaign. Ward 4 seems to be on fire in terms of campaigns. I remember when you was working with then Council Member Muriel Bowser, who's now the mayor. But I haven't, you have taken on what I consider the Adrian Fenty constituent service mantle. In terms of being out there in the community and being everywhere. There's nowhere I go in Ward 4 and I don't see you, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Not that I go to a lot. I go to some places, but sometimes I just pop up to eat, and there you are. But let's jump right into it. This is a campaign. I'm riding through the wards, as you know, and I'm looking at signs everywhere, and I see Brandon Todd sign everywhere. Walk me through where you are in terms of your campaign. Why are you running again?
Absolutely. No, that's a great question, and we are 5 days before the Democratic primary, so obviously we are all the way in full GOTV mode. But, I got elected in 2015 in a special election, and we were able to hit the ground running in 2015. And what Ward 4 residents told me then is they wanted a council member that would be focused on seniors and aging in place, economic opportunity, preserving and creating affordable housing, world-class constituent services. And when we ran our campaign in 2015, we committed to all of those things, hit the ground running. I ran for re-election in 2015, and now I'm running in the Democratic primary just 5 days away on June 2nd to continue the work that we started in 2015.
Okay, and you've been working hard. You've been out there campaigning hard. You've been doing constituent services hard. Walk me through the top three things that you're talking about on your campaign that people are excited about. And I think it's important for me to walk through a list of people that have endorsed your campaign. You've been involved in the council for a long time, over a decade.
Yes.
And when we start to look at your list, you have SEIU 30BJ, you have AFG, you have the Teamsters, LIUNA, you have the firefighters, you have FOP, MPD, and then you have the Washington Post, you have the ABC contractors, as well as the DC Bar and Restaurant Association. So you also have racked up a list of supporters that are supporting your campaign. Have there been any, and I think you have the chairman of the council has supported your campaign also?
Yes, I'm very proud of all the endorsements that we've received over the campaign. I'm proud to have the endorsement of our mayor, Muriel Bowser. I'm proud to have the endorsement of the chairman of the council, Phil Mendelson, and my colleagues at-large council member Anita Bonds, and my colleague, Ward 5 council member Kenya McDuffie.
Okay.
And I'm also... Yeah, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of the Washington Post, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of labor as the labor community in this race.
Now, as nowhere I go, when we start talking about seniors in D.C., and I'll just say in D.C. because, especially in Ward 4, there's no senior I talk to who is not supporting you. That I've talked to, right? There are probably some out there, but I haven't talked to anyone said that was older who said they were not supporting Brandon Todd. We had Janice, a person that's running for the seat, on earlier, and one of the things that she brought up was Initiative 77. And how Initiative 77 and what that did and overturning that and the will of the people, and how it was hurting people that are waitress. But then I see on your list of endorsed individuals, I see the restaurant associate, the DC Bar and Restaurant Association. Why are they supporting your campaign?
Well, Initiative 77 was a very interesting campaign that was before our city a few years ago. First, we had an outside organization from New York come in, get an initiative placed on the ballot in a pretty misleading way that would hurt our restaurant and bar industry in the district. You know, as the council member representing Georgia Avenue, Kennedy Street, Walter Reed, Eastern Avenue, Riggs Road and South Dakota Avenue, Upper 14th Street, I have seen from my time as a government staffer 13 years ago to my time as a council member the last 5 years, I have watched restaurants and bars come to places in my ward that they have never been. And what we want to do is make sure we have an environment that can continue to allow for small businesses to locate in Ward 4. You know, the Bar and Restaurant Association, they're supporting me because a number of their workers were vehemently opposed to the initiative that would essentially cut their pay. You know, what I heard loud and clearly from restaurant and bar workers is that we want the opportunity to maximize our income. And the $15 minimum wage would minimize their income. I think it's also important to note that DC law already mandates that if a server or someone working in a restaurant or a bar does not make $15 an hour, that their employer is required by DC law that exists to make up the difference. So if they make $8 in tips, the restaurant or bar is required to make them whole to $15 an hour. And it's up to our Attorney General to enforce that. And that's exactly what should happen. So, you know, I take the will of the voters very, very seriously. And it was not an easy decision. But I heard loud and clear from restaurant and bar workers. I heard loud and clear from restaurant and bar owners who are small business folks, right? They live in my ward. They own a business in the ward. And they were very clear that this would shut them down and shut them down quickly.
So, you know, when you look at that, I know there was a contentious battle between some of the bar owners and waitress and waiters, and then some of the owners of the restaurant that said, hey, look, this is going to hurt us and this is going to shut us down and will not be, we won't be able to stay open. I have next door, we have a wonderful restaurant. And they have been on both sides of the fence as it relates to this issue. When it goes to schools, walk us through why people with school children should still support Brandon Todd as it relates to education in additional Columbia and the education in Ward 4.
No, that's a great question, Chairman. And I'm very proud of our record on education reform. I'm proud that in 2015, when I took office, there were zero standalone middle schools in Ward 4. And I'm very proud that now we have 2 standalone middle schools in our ward. Ida B. Wells, which we reopened, McFarland Middle School, which was closed in 2007, and we reopened it in 2018. And we just opened last school year Ida B. Wells at Coolidge, which is very exciting. So we've made over $300 million in investments in Ward 4 schools. We've ensured that all Ward 4 schools that have not seen modernizations are in the capital improvement plan so that they too will get the dollars and the attention that they deserve. So focused on, you know, making sure that our school buildings are adequate for families, but also making sure that we have robust course offerings and curriculums. I've introduced legislation that require us to triple the number of dual language seats in DC public schools by 2025. I can't go to any part of Ward 4 and hear from a family that does not want their child to be in a dual language immersion program, and we should be doing that in our schools.
Okay. And so you're saying that there is a plan laid out to ensure that every school is modernized in Ward 4?
Absolutely. We've gotten all of the schools that have not received modernization in the capital improvement plan. So they'll all be modernized.
So walk me through, you have the MPD, you have the FOP MPD, and you have the fire department, the firefighters are all supporting your campaign. You have, someone is running against you who said that we need to, do more for public safety, but they're supporting you. Why are they supporting your campaign?
No, I think we're really fortunate in our ward and in our city to have a fantastic police department that prioritizes community policing that prioritizes keeping our neighborhoods and business corridors safe. Public safety is a challenge in the city, and there are some who believe that we should have less police in the District of Columbia, and in fact, that we should divest from MPD and redirect funding. I think that we should do the exact opposite. We are a city that is growing, and we have to grow our police force to ensure that we have adequate resources to keep people who have been here for 50 years, for 10 years, for 5 years, and people who are coming safe. Likewise with the fire and emergency management services. We have to continue to grow that department so that we can adequately respond to public safety needs. As it relates to public safety as a whole, I think that we have to, along with growing our police force, we also have to have a focus on a public health approach to public safety. In 2016, I voted to support the NEAR Act, which created the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, which does exactly that. And so in the budget for 2021, I'll be fighting to make sure that we keep the added resources that are allocated to MPD to increase the cadet program, because that's hugely important, but also that we add additional resources where needed to the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, because they do a great job at being boots on the ground, being a partner with the police in getting to the root causes of why people commit crimes.
Absolutely. And as we close, and you have the Ward 4 residents that have been with you. Some, have someone else's sign in the yard, but it seems to be that you're campaigning hard. You're taking nothing for granted. You're out there every day. I'm getting an email, a social media with somebody saying, "Go Brandon." I'm with Brandon Todd, which means that your campaign is still on fire.
Yes.
As we close, what would you like to say to those Ward 4 residents that still may be undecided?
I absolutely thank you for the opportunity. I would say that over the last 5 years, we have prioritized an agenda that is truly a Ward 4 agenda. Great schools, seniors' ability to age in place, clean and safe neighborhoods, growing and thriving corridors like Georgia Avenue, like Kennedy Street. We have a huge opportunity to redevelop 66 acres at Walter Reed, and I've been laser focused on that project. We helped to bring Whole Foods there. Over the last 5 years, we've either created, preserved, or have in the pipeline over 2,000 units of affordable housing across the spectrum. A number of those units are dedicated to seniors and world-class constituent services. I've been focused over the last 5 years and will continue to be so on ensuring that the government of the District of Columbia is delivering for Ward 4. So whether that's DDOT, repaving an alley or a roadway, or fixing a sidewalk, or trimming your trees, or making sure that the 4th District has the appropriate level of MPD resources that it needs to keep us safe, or making sure that we're doing everything we can to attract that cool new bistro or coffee shop to one of our corridors that needs the investment. And so we have created 3 Main Street designations in my tenure: Kennedy Street, Upper 14th Street, Upper Georgia Avenue, and the Parks Main Street at South Dakota and Riggs Road. And so nobody will work harder for Ward 4, nobody will work longer for Ward 4 residents, and nobody will work smarter and be more diligent and focused. And the Washington Post summed it up perfectly in their endorsement when they said that Brandon Todd doesn't chase national headlines or focus on national agendas, but that he really focuses on a Ward 4 agenda. And that's focusing, like I said before, on school reform and seniors and safe and clean neighborhoods and a thriving business corridor and the preservation and creation of more affordable housing. And that's what I've been focused on for 5 years, and that's what I'll be focused on over the next 4. So go out and vote. If you have received your vote by mail ballot, mail it today to make sure that your vote is counted. If you haven't, please visit one of our voting centers in Ward 4, or you can call our campaign at 202-599-4708 if you have questions. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And June 2nd, and the good thing about it, once again, you can go anywhere and vote, right? You can go inside Ward 4, you can go outside of Ward 4, you can go wherever's closer to you. We just encourage everyone to get out there and vote. June 2nd, get out there and vote, right? Exercise your right to vote. Council member, hopefully we'll see you June 2nd, June 3rd. June 3rd, hopefully you'll come back on the show and visit us.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, once again, June 2nd, Ward 4. Brandon Todd, who's laid out his vision for the ward and wants to continue to make that happen. Once again, if it's always real talk, you know it's going to be real.